The cold wind howled between the low buildings of Tangerine as I sat with my friends around the warm stove inside our hut. Yet I still shivered as it brought back memories of the snowy winter pass we had crossed a few days ago. Cat put her arm around me, and her wet hair fell on my shoulder. It had grown long since we met for the first time, and I hoped you would let me braid it one day. It's okay, we're safe, she said quietly. I tried to smile. I still felt weak, and my light had almost gone out. But despite all the hardships we faced, it hadn't fully vanished. I made a difference, I told myself. No matter how small it seemed to be, I felt I made a difference for those who I shared my light with. I smiled and glanced at Aisha and Kim, standing next to the stove, preparing dinner for us. It was so nice to have warm food and a roof over our heads, and I was deeply grateful for the Dyquins for their generous gifts. We had enough food to last us the rest of the winter, and were welcome to stay among them for as long as we wished. I still remember meeting their elders, stern-looking men and women, sitting around an open fire in a long, tall building that stood at the center of the town. They'd looked so different from everything I knew, but somehow, despite that, I felt a strange kinship with them that I'd never felt anywhere else since I left my forest. Was this our home now? Were we supposed to stay here? I didn't know. The visions from the forest had faded since I entered Notar, and I couldn't bring myself to sing, even if I finally felt at peace. We had stayed inside most of the time, resting and recovering after the hardships we had endured on our travels, and only Samir and his family visited us from time to time, checking on us and sharing songs and tales from their land. All of us, except Sara, that is. After we had entered the town and received the Harad's blessing, we were more than happy to rest, but she had stayed with them for a long time and only came back late at night. Since then, she had left early every day, when the cold sun had barely risen above the horizon, and come back late, if she did come back at all. I saw her speaking with Cat on a few occasions, but Cat never shared what they talked about. I felt Sara didn't want to burden us with her plans, as she deeply regretting putting us in danger so many times before. Her heart still bled inside of her, and I hadn't had the strength back then to fully heal her. But her eyes had changed, and in place of the dancing fire was a soft glaze mixed with sadness. She had changed so much since we met, but I could say the same about the others, and I was happy to have them by my side when the cold wind howled through the night, bringing snow and ice from the tall mountains that sheltered us from the Queen's reach.